Imaginal disc, imaginal risk. Solutions. Call 1-888-562-7373 today. That probably is someone's real number. Don't dial it. I don't know who that is. Don't dial it. But in my head, when I think of this album, I think of a Risk Solutions line. Maybe that's because I don't know what an imaginal disc is, although this album cover, we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn what this is, and I'm very excited. It truly feels like the universe has given us this album. This like blue hand coming down, placing the disc. And a few years ago, I had Kill Shot, the reverb version on repeat. Oh my gosh, I could not get out of the chokehold of that song. So I'm very excited to listen to this project today. There's too much going on here. I was ascending in my body, okay? I had a full body chill. I'm experiencing something I have never experienced before. That's a lie. I've experienced this, but it's been a minute. It's giving American Dream gone bad. Or really American Dream as seen through generations, coming from somewhere else, falling in love, having a baby, seeing your future somewhat slip away. So we're starting with this picture of love and romance, but it's a little murky. I don't know if this is something that we're talking about ourselves, talking about our parents. We don't know what the persona is or the world building is yet, but I am excited. And that production, we were slipping through so many different moments, like it's giving an older indie sound, maybe early 2000s, that I really appreciate. Part of it was me getting chills. Part of it was me with my jaw on the floor. Like, I am having a moment. Bro, what am I listening to? I love the beat. I love those drums. And I love the way her voice blends into the track, like the way the vocal melded in. I'm being activated by so much stuff right now, and it all sounds so good. I feel like right now I'm being robbed, but they like bust into my house, they knew the blueprint, and then they left like a chocolate cake, some roses, a kombucha at my bed. And they were like, just kidding, it's not a robbery, we're just giving you stuff. Like, this is everything I didn't know I needed. Lyrically, I think about killing time in the sense of things being easy. You arrive somewhere early, you're like, you know what, let's just like walk around, let's adventure, let's see what's going on. But there's something a little bit more sinister underneath this. Having a difficult time connecting with our own reality. We're choosing to kill time over not having time kill us. I think about the value of time and the idea of killing time as something that we don't really do anymore. Like, you always have an opportunity to be on your phone. There's no boredom. There's no discovery in these smaller moments. There's no connection to curiosity in the same way. But I was honestly so distracted by the blend of everything. Specifically the production and how many places we went to in that I honestly couldn't even form a thought while I was listening to that. We went into the mirror portal. We're having a little Narnia moment. Now we're entering the imaginal disc. So when I think about the first three songs, family, generations, love, cycles of things that we cannot escape, that are active choices, but that prolong in ways that keep us in one place that is static. And then we are killing time in this way where our life is passing by and we're trying to make more active choices to break out of this mold that we've created. And now we've received the Imaginal disc. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm literally not ready. So let me ask, are you ready? Yes. I need to do more research into frequencies because I know there are some frequencies that make you feel things, and I felt too much in my body for that to not be true of this project so far. I loved the drum breakdown after the first chorus. I love the way that the second chorus was extremely amped up and we got this bass in there. It felt like we were constantly finding new things. We have locked into this moment and we're sending this disc out to everybody else. It does feel universe coded to me in that we are becoming higher beings. We're becoming our fully formed selves. And something about this feels so incredibly divine. And then right at the end, we have this like discordant smash that breaks it up. Like, the artistry in this, the intentionality at every single moment. This project is giving utopian scholastic aesthetic. There's so many things floating around in my brain. I feel like I'm learning so much and taking in so much. In the first couple of verses, we have this moment where the drums really start to shine and they carry us from one verse to the next in a way that was non-stop. The drums on this entire project, chef's kiss. Closer towards the end, I would have loved to have a choir of voices singing the death and romance refrain, drop the beat out for a little bit and have us just sit in that moment. But that's just from growing up in the church. Like, that's just, I was just like, oh, you know what would really spice this up right now? A little bit of that. The idea that our romance is so long lasting that we might die together, or witnessing our experiences being something that's finite and it might come to an end even outside of our own circumstances. But it puts me back to this imaginal being on this imaginal plane. Either we will die from this threat or we will die from old age. It just feels timeless. And the entirety of this song also gives like big 80s pop ballad. Magdalena Bay is leaving no crumbs. They did not come to play today. They said, joie, you about to have an experience. This song felt so serious in the beginning. Like, I could tell from the production that we were gonna have a little bit more of a serious moment to talk. We're talking about a war. We're talking about our voices. We're talking about not being safe. We're talking about the parallels to death and romance with fear and sex. It feels like we are moving to the darker side of that, where it's not as wistful and beautiful as it is kind of frightening and nerve-wracking to be in that situation. If we're set in this future world that also has parallels to our world, I'm thinking about being programmed into making a choice or a decision and then being ripped apart from the choices that you make outside of that because they don't fit inside this realm of possibility. It also feels like the disconnection between these two people is something that was inevitable, but is still very painful. And now we're in a space where we need help, we're calling out for help, and we're noticing that that person is no longer there. Every transition on this project has also been incredible. And we're gearing up for this run right now that's gonna take us somewhere. I love this. I'm not sure who the vampire in the corner is supposed to be. It kind of signals to me the idea of a younger teenage obsession with fantasy, things like that, and being connected with someone in such a way that they arouse that kind of feeling in you, but I'm not exactly sure. It was unexpected coming out of Fear and Sex, though. It felt like we were going to go somewhere bigger, and then we got a little bit softer, and there was more negative space in the track. And then within the second verse, we had chimes and different elements that added texture to it in a softer way than we've heard in the earlier tracks. We've definitely had that, but they've been in cacophony with so much other stuff that it hasn't been in the foreground as much. I love singing at a higher register in the last chorus. It adds it all together, and that's also when we get a swell of the production that makes it feel very grand to us. This is also the first song that I heard too where it sounded like I was hearing a computer, either computer functions or an older computer starting up. Or we chose sounds that were evocative of that feeling, and that's giving back to this Imaginal disc being a server within ourselves or somewhere that we can access. So I love feeling a more tangible depiction of that. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off, turn it off. You're depressed, you need to get up and go see the world and deal with your demons. Also, this production makes me want to dance like an NPC. There's something that feels like the server loading in a video game that it's just bringing that out of me. I think it is a strong song to give like a depression wake up, or even say it's not even as deep as depression, a dissociation wake up to come back into your life. The production does that on its own by building up until it feels like a shock within you. We have a lot of repetitiveness. We have a lot of return to different statements. Sometimes the verses begin with the same phrase. The chorus is normally the same, but then sometimes the bridge might have a lot of repetition, and they're also modulating vocals in a way. That brings a little bit more out of it. So even though it's the same thing over and over again, it does not feel monotonous at all. If anything, it feels kind of like a mantra of the world that we're living in. It feels very honest and authentic and very representative of a place and a moment in time that feels disconnected from this world in a larger sense. We put in the Imaginal disc, we put in the chit. Maybe this is something that we see or that we dream of, but it feels like with this song, we came back to reality for a moment. I love the way we experience tunnel vision at the end of this track because there's so many cascading waves of it. And isn't it such a true and relatable experience to notice so many things that are wrong with you, wrong with the world, feel like you can't do anything, feel like you have no agency or power, and then you remember what the force of love can do in your life? You have to hyper focus on how you treat yourself and how you love yourself in order to make that something successful for you in your life and to be able to get to that next place or to be able to give in the way that you want to give. I also love the repetition of the first few lyrics. It feels like we are writing a piece of poetry, and coming after watching TV, it feels like the awakening. Now that we are in this world, what does it look like? So again, this one feels like it sits more in reality. It does feel like it serves a greater metaphor for building the world that we want to live in. It's a sweet self-love song. I also love these cascading melodies we have in the production. It makes it feel honestly quite magical, adds embellishments to different parts of the project that keep you continually listening. Even though I am hearing things that I feel like I've heard in other parts of this album, every time I hear them, they feel fresh and new because the placement surprises me. Or the change in harmonies, the switch up on one word, the repetition, the add-in of a deeper vocal. Smooth and easier love song, fitting in succession with everything else that we've heard. And honestly, the type of uplift that we needed throughout this, because we went to some dark places previously. I think we're going to somewhere new. This feels like a transition space. The last song felt like we were closing off this entire love section. I'm very excited to see where we're going next and how we're going to end this project. The guitar in the chorus is so good. It feels like it could be a party song. It feels like something you rock out to, and maybe that is the response that we are getting because of this movement of love that we are with other people when we're at the Magdalena Bay concert. It feels like now that we have discovered who we are and how we operate through this movement of music, through this moment, we can go anywhere from here. Even though this came out in August, I feel like this is a great way for me to end my year because it's just tying up loose ends in a way and giving me this sense of finality. Respect that you can't control everything, but you can control how you're relating to the people around you, the spaces you're putting yourself in, and honestly, the type of things that you're ingesting to create the most perfect universe for yourself and to uplift others. When this track started, I thought I heard a little bit of a gothic darkness to it, and then I realized that we're dying. And we're giving away the rest of our belongings and we're saying goodbye on this journey. And it honestly shook me. I didn't see that coming. The production reminds me of old Hollywood. It feels very grand. I didn't want this persona or this world to die. I truly don't want this album to end. We've felt things be finite before, but I love that we're getting this closing arc. Otherwise, I don't know how else we would leave. Not that I even want to leave, but you know what I'm saying? Like I have to be almost pushed out of this. Within most of the tracks, we get like a 10-second snippet at the end that's different from the entire beat, but kind of sets the tone for what we've heard or sets the tone for something coming up. It's moving through all these spaces that truly identify where the imaginal disc lives and where you live and where those two things collide. You can feel the love in this song, and it feels like a huge ascension upwards into that mythological heavens. Just the idea of having an angel on a satellite is a perfect description of what this project is. It's finding that divinity, that angelicness, that beautiful thing within you, but it's also put in this world that is rampant with technology and the way that we download things and the way that we disconnect from ourselves. And so having the imagery of those two things together is not only seamless for the style of this project, but also is the perfect blend in how this message was even transported to us. I'm listening to this in a digital way, and that's something that beautiful and angelic and connected could come through the lens of something like that means that it is innate within us and not just something that we aspire to. I don't know where we are, I don't know where we're going, I don't know how we're gonna end this, but it feels so good to witness. My camera ran out of storage, so I am coming to you from camera 2 to say that this final song makes me recontextualize the first song entirely. It feels like a refrain of that and makes me think about being more reflective of their childhoods and that being ordinary and all the choices that they've made to get to this point. I love that we have a project that has been of biblical proportions the entire time, and now the journey of this epic tale is coming to a close where we are speaking to the creators of this project, and in many ways throughout the album have spoken to a creator of the Imaginal disc or of this mindset. And have this relationship with divinity that is then brought down to earth to have this moment with them. I love that this song gives us a moment to learn something new about where we started. It gives everything in this world a cyclical nature to it, and that feels good and right in this project. That's all I have for you today. If you've made it to this point in the video, I appreciate you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one.